Hi, today we are talking to Amanda Vogel, who is the principal of Active Voice Fitness Writing and Marketing. But I think, Amanda, you probably have a better introduction for yourself on what you do.
Sure, yeah. I mean, that pretty much sums it up what you said. But I guess when people ask me what I do, I try to break it down into a number of streams that I have built my business around. One is I'm a magazine writer, so I write mostly about health and fitness and mostly for women's magazines or magazines that are geared toward the fitness industry specifically. I'm also a book author. One of my new books is called Baby Boot Camp, The New Mom's 9-Minute Fitness Solution, is just coming out now, January 2010. And in addition to that, I also work within the fitness industry. I'm a certified fitness professional myself, and I work within the fitness industry helping fitness professionals and organizations improve the quality and effectiveness of their marketing and educational materials. So those are kind of the streams of my business.
Wow, multiple streams.
Yeah.
Now I know that you're in Canada, but you've also worked in the United States, and your book will be also offered in the United States?
Well, I'm a freelancer, so yeah, I'm based in Canada. I live in Canada, but as a freelancer, I've also written for U.S. publications, and the book that I have coming out, Baby Boot Camp, is available in the States. It's actually being published by Sterling Publishing, which is through Barnes & Noble. So, and I co-authored it with a woman named Kristen Holler, who is the owner of Baby Boot Camp, and she's based in Florida.
What a great concept. Does Baby Boot Camp have to do with moms working out with babies?
Exactly. That's exactly what it is, and it's based on Kristen's franchise called Baby Boot Camp, and it's like a stroller franchise program where women can get together and work out in classes, and then we just brought that same concept to a book where women who are, in the postpartum phase, maybe they're at home or they're not able to get to a class, what can they do at home to still keep up their fitness level and get back in shape with their baby?
That sounds like a great shower present.
Absolutely.
Is this something, doing the freelance writing and writing your own book and helping health and fitness businesses with their marketing, is this something you always wanted to do?
No, actually not at all. I mean, when I have a master's degree in human kinetics, but my undergraduate degree is actually in psychology. And when I first went into university, I thought that was the route I wanted to take, is psychology, and that's what I focused on. But then during the course of studying at university, I got more and more involved with fitness, and I decided that I actually wanted to change my focus from psychology more to kinesiology, which is what I got my master's degree in, as I said. So it wasn't something that I planned to do, and freelance writing in particular was definitely not something that was on my radar when I first graduated from high school and started university. What happened there was I basically finished my master's degree, which was on body image and the role of the fitness instructor. And I thought, okay, how can I get this information out to the fitness industry and share it with my colleagues? I think it's important information, body image and fitness, and I just want, other personal trainers and other fitness instructors to know, a little bit about the study that I did. And so I started myself studying and trying to figure out how to get into the world of freelance writing so that I could write articles. And at the time, I thought, well, okay, I'll write a few articles about body image and fitness, and that'll be it. But I realized that it really snowballed from there, and I was able to write on many topics, and I enjoyed it a lot, so that became the new focus of my career.
Wow, and it's such a learning experience. I know when I do write, or you're preparing to write, how you suddenly learn about different points of view and different studies that come out. So that must be great because it kind of keeps your ideas fresh.
Absolutely. I mean, exactly. And you're always on top of, what's the latest thing. You get a lot of news releases and do a lot of research in terms of what are the new studies. And so, yeah, it is a great way to keep the ideas fresh and see what's coming out new in the industry.
So now you set yourself upon this path. Was there any time that you wanted to give up, and how did you overcome that?
Yeah. I guess there's always a point at least once a year where you feel like giving up, and I just say that because freelance writing, and I also do presenting at fitness conferences, those are two areas that are very competitive, and there's a lot of rejection involved. So it's not all, happy times in terms of everybody accepting your ideas or accepting the articles that you want to write. A lot of times you have to face rejection for one reason or another. So it's just a matter of learning how to push past that rejection, figure out, whether the rejection is a case of, okay, I need to step back and reevaluate how I'm doing this. Is there a different way to do it that's going to get better results? Or maybe I just need to change my focus a little bit and try something else for a little while and come back to, whatever I'm experiencing the challenges or the barriers with, and try it again later. So, in terms of like actually throwing in the towel on my whole career, no. But sometimes the rejection does get to the point where you just feel a little bit discouraged, so you have to find a way to work around it.
I totally agree. I know in my business consulting business that I do a lot of networking, and that's how I get my name out there, obviously. In terms of doing your own marketing, do you do networking yourself, or how do you go about marketing yourself?
Exactly. I do networking, and it started out, years ago, sort of the main focus of my networking, and I continue to do this today, is more one-on-one stuff. Like if I would go to a fitness conference, or if I'd be in a city where I could go meet an editor, I would do something like that. So getting to meet people face-to-face and getting to know them in that way is totally important networking, and it still is important today. But more so than even 5 years ago, a lot of the networking I'm doing now is completely online through, social media sites like Facebook and Twitter, through my blog, just finding new ways to connect with people, even if you aren't able to connect with them face-to-face. So that's a lot of the focus that I'm doing with my networking now.
Now, in the business side of your business, are there any aspects like legal knowledge or something that you wish you had more knowledge about that could help you?
Well, I hadn't thought of legal knowledge, but now that you bring that up, like every accounting, legal, all of these kinds of areas, but I'm happy to delegate that stuff to somebody else. What I do wish that I had more of a knowledge of sometimes is the technical aspect of my computer. Like if something's going wrong in your computer, I'm just not one of those people who knows how to dig into the computer and figure out, what's going wrong and work on it until I fix it. So I usually have to call somebody in to do that. So that's just an area that comes to mind because I do focus so much. My business is so focused on working on my computer, not only just for networking and marketing like I talked about, but also all my stuff is in there, all my work.
Yes.
So it's sometimes it's a bit daunting to think about, my entire business is inside this computer. I wish I just knew a bit more about it. Other than that, I try to keep myself very connected to what other people are doing both in the fitness industry and in the writing industry. So I love to learn from people in that way, and anything that I feel like I could brush up on in those areas, I do sort of seek out, whether it's something to do with fitness or something to do with how to market or how to write better or how to approach magazines in a different way.
Sure, that makes sense. As I think that every day is almost a learning experience, and what can you pick up that can help you and help your clients?
Exactly.
Is there any, when you're writing, is there any system that you follow? Like I always talk about project management and how in project management there's like a system on how to break down things, or do you kind of just go by the seat of your pants?
No, it's definitely a system that I use. You mean with writing articles?
Yes. Well, even with writing your book, though, too.
Yeah, the book is more. I've done 2 books. One was a ghostwriting project for a book called Transformative Yoga, and I worked with somebody else, obviously, for that, who's the primary author of the book. And then the one that I co-authored. Those are a bit different than a lot of the articles that I write because they were more of a team effort, working with somebody else. But when I write my articles, there's definitely a system. So first I have to figure out whether I'm going to interview experts for the piece, and if so, how am I going to go through the interview process and then collect the interview content. And then usually what I do to start an article is lay the interview content into an article outline, and then I write around the interview content and decide what I want to keep and how I want to quote people and what I want to get rid of. It kind of goes from there. But I usually have it in my head how I want the article to pan out in the end. And it doesn't always work out like that. Like, what I find interesting about articles is sometimes they take on a little bit of a life of their own.